just like spilt ground coffee. Oh my, that did just happen. I literally just spilled ground coffee everywhere. Like if I thought I spilled ground coffee a second ago, I really just did it now. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I sat down to film this video. My mom called me, we were on the phone for an hour, so basically an hour later, I'm finally filming the video. Make sense? Cool. Anyways, that's besides the point. Let's get on with the video. I've been living in Massachusetts for a month now, and a lot has happened in this month. Some good.
And a lot of bad.
Boy, if I could just like, Before we get into all the negative things that have been going on, let's just talk about something positive. So to start, I am 100% grateful to be living here. I never in a million years thought I would get accepted into such a great school and move halfway across the country, but things have changed. Years have passed, and here we are. With good comes bad, sometimes a lot. So now let's get into the negative, the downsides of living here. I said in a previous video before I moved up here that I was scared because I was like,
oh crap, people are gonna be mean.
It has probably mean people.
I don't know.
People from cities are mean, pushy, don't apologize.
And that's that.
The train's passing by. I was scared to move up here because people were gonna be mean, and I just kind of knew / assumed that. Well, people up here are not just mean, they are careless, heartless,
Soulless people.
that don't give about anyone but themselves. I know that was a little aggressive,
But it's true.
First off, people in Texas, let's talk about them. They're great, they're sweet, they smile at you when you're just walking down the street. They tell you hi, they ask you how your day is going. They open the door for you and you reply thank you. You open the door for them, they thank you. And it's just, they're nice. And I never appreciated that until I moved up here. There was always this ongoing thing about Southern hospitality, and I always just kind of thought it was a joke. Well, no.
Southern hospitality is not a joke.
I came up here knowing that people were gonna be a little mean, but I also came up here expecting the same kind of treatment that you get in Texas. But boy, was I disappointed to find out that people up here do not act like people in Texas at all. People are up here. They are. So some examples of how people up here are rude is they stare at you constantly and they just don't think it's rude. Staring is rude, if you ask me. I don't like it when people stare at me, but people up here just will stare at you up and down, and just when you think they're about to look away, they stare at you even harder. And it makes me really uncomfortable. They're just kind of like, and then you just kind of sit there like, and it's just not fun. It's not fun. I hate being stared at. I hate when people stare at me, and so when people do stare at me up here, it just makes me really uncomfortable and self-conscious, and I hate it. It makes you think that like something's wrong with you. And you know what? There's a lot wrong with me. You shouldn't stare at me for it. Also, people up here have no sense of personal space. This is my bubble. People up here don't respect the bubble. They get in your bubble, but my bubble is my bubble. It is not yours. Just let me have my space, okay? Really just grinds my gears, gets my anger just fuming. And now we're gonna get into a few story times. Specifically, traumatic ones. We're gonna go from like the least traumatic to the most traumatic. And let me tell you, the last story,
It's pretty traumatic.
for this first story time, my mom flew up here with me the first weekend I moved down here, and we were out and about. We were about to get on the train, so we were just waiting at the train station. There was like 5 fans. Well, my mom was just standing next to one. She wasn't blocking it. She wasn't right next to it. She was just standing by it, you know, getting the breeze. And this guy was sitting on the bench, kind of close to where my mom was standing, and he just looks at her and he says,
"Man, can you stop blocking the fan? I'm not getting any air."
my mom just kind of stepped aside, and then we just kind of sat there like, And that just goes back to people up here being rude. I mean, there's a nice way to say something and there's a rude way to say something, and he obviously chose the rude way. So that was that. Now the second story gets a little more traumatic, and this also goes back to people being rude, but I don't consider this just rude. I consider it just flat out harsh. So like I said, the first weekend we were down here, we were shopping for the apartment. Well, there's a little shopping center next to our apartment that we were at, and we were leaving, and this girl just walked out into the road, not looking, on her phone. And our windows were rolled down. I did not mean anything rude. I just said,
hey, like, make sure you watch where you're going. You don't want to get hit by a car.
I was trying to be helpful, okay? I don't want this girl to die because she's looking at her phone. Like, your phone's not that important. I was just trying to help her. Well, after I said that, she turned around and said, you. And I have never wanted to cry more in my life because no one has ever said that to me. I didn't think I was being mean. So when she said that to me, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. That was really great. I loved that experience. Moving on to our third and final story. Like I said, this one is pretty traumatic. Prepare yourself. A few weeks ago, JP and I had to go grocery shopping, got our groceries, and we looked at the time and he was like, oh.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go by Panda Express to get some lunch because I don't have time to make lunch.
And I was like,
yeah, okay, sounds good, cool, let's go.
So we go to Panda Express. There was no drive-through, so we parked. Went in, got the food. And then he handed me the bag while we were walking back to the car because he had to drive. So I'm walking to the car. It's windy out. My hair is blowing in my face. So I'm just kind of looking down to try and block it so I can, you know, see where I'm going. If I was looking up, my hair would have been like this, okay? So by looking down, my hair was like this. You see what I'm saying? Is this making sense? I hope it's making sense.
Does it make sense?
I'm carrying the Panda Express bag. I'm walking to the car. A few seconds later, JP goes, watch out. And then boom. Right in the hip. I had been attacked. Got hit in the hip.
And it hurt.
I look down where my hip was and I see the side mirror on a car. Basically, they're supposed to be like angled this way. This one was all the way back. And I was like, oh shit, I just destroyed this person's side mirror. And I look in the car and there's a guy in there. I looked at him and I was like, oh shit, this person just saw me destroy their mirror. He rolled down the window and goes,
are you okay?
Since I thought it was my fault, I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to run into your mirror.
I can fix it.
You know, I'm just apologizing over and over again because that's what I do. I overly apologize sometimes, and like it's kind of a bad thing, but also like kind of a good thing, so then people know that like I'm actually really sorry. But like sometimes I may take it a little too far. You know what? Whatever. This is not me pointing out my flaws. This is me telling a story. Then JP just starts getting so angry at this man. He is yelling at him, and I'm sitting there like,
whoa, what is going on?
Well, 'twas not my fault. JP was getting mad at him because he backed up and hit me with his car. Yeah, JP's just getting really angry at the guy, and he was like,
Well, did you see her?
and the guy was like,
Well, yeah, but I just, wanted to back out, give her more space.
here's the thing, sir. You cannot back out while someone is walking to a car that you're parked next to. You can't do that. Like, you could hit them, and you know what?
You hit me.
And to know that you hit me,
It makes me mad, okay?
my hip hurt after, and it was bruised. Thinking back on it, we wish that we got the guy's information. The past is the past, and I, didn't want to create a scene, so whatever. But yeah,
I got hit by a car.
if you stayed this long, you obviously care, so thank you for that. But before I go, I want to shout out 3 people that have been so supportive of me making videos and that literally make my day. And there are also 3 people that are really important to me that I have become friends with via internet, and they make me want to cry because I love them a lot. But Marie, Yaz, and Shazia, I love you guys so much. Thank you for the consistent support that you guys give me, because it honestly makes my entire day, and it makes me want to create more videos, because when people are supportive of something that you do, it makes you just want to keep doing it. So I thank you guys so much for that, and I love you all so much. Well, that was it for this video. Bye! Bye.